Hey everyone, welcome to the Fin Factor. We're doing a live show this time. It's episode number 81. I'm Paul.
And I'm Aaron.
And this is the
there.
easiest part of the show. I don't know if you know that.
Jeez.
We just have to say our names.
Right.
All right, good. Do you have an 81 for me, by the way?
No. I didn't look.
Really?
Right.
I thought, from the CUDA, isn't he 81?
Yeah, but
Maybe
I don't think he's played as Sharks.
I don't think he has played as a Shark. There is an 81. You guys are going to get mad at me because there is an 81 for sure.
I'll tell you right now.
Give it to me. Anyway, we are here ready to take your comments and your questions. We've just...
Aha!
Yeah.
One player.
Okay.
Tyler Kennedy.
Ah, that's who it was. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm like, I know there's one. There's one.
Man.
Okay, there you go. So anyway, we are here ready to take comments and questions. Aaron obviously has the laptop out, so I know we've got a handful of folks waiting. We've got super producer Jason is in the house. I guess that whole stint where he was gone is over now. Oh, we're going to go to Aaron. Go ahead.
Hi.
Anything else you want to say hello to him?
No,
or?
Lundy says hello, and
Okay.
how did we lose to the Wild?
How did we lose to the Wild?
Well, the Wild scored more than the Sharks.
That's generally
That's usually what happens.
how it works. Yeah.
Right.
That'll do it. That'll do it to you every time. No, you know what? I looked at those goals again, and the Suter bomb from the point. It really looked like Couture and whoever else it was were kind of like right in front of where Jones was, and you can see Jones leaning to his left, trying to look past Logan there, and the shot actually came to the right. So I think by the time
when it should have gone right.
Well, I know exactly. So he was leaning left to try to look around Couture. The shot comes. He recognizes that it's going to his right. He starts to move back to his right to get there, and it's just too late. So, yeah, that's an unfortunate one. Then they had there was a one-time right in the slot that they had there too, and yeah, just all bad things. So you need to have a better protection around the net there. It was just actually just a slot shot there. By I think it was Galchenyuk, and Vlasic didn't pick him up. Kind of a bouncing weird one, and Galchenyuk picked it up right off his backhand and roofed it on him. So just unfortunate, but them's the breaks. So you gotta pick yourself back up and keep going.
I thought Stalock played pretty well.
Oh yeah,
in that game.
Yeah, for sure.
He made some good saves, and Stalock. We were just talking about this before. He's a very unorthodox goalie who scrambles a lot. He's very aggressive too. He kind of reminds me of Marty Turco a little bit, or Mike Smith. One of those guys likes to play the puck on his stick, likes to be aggressive and come out and challenge the shooters. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And in this case, it worked because there's a lot of scrambles. It felt like in that game.
I feel like he's a more erratic Dell.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very much.
For folks that need a comparison that they better understand. Yeah, he's like a more erratic Dell. Yeah. The one timer I was thinking of, by the way, Logan just didn't get on his horse, and guy skates right past him, gets a pass, and one time's it in past Jones down low. So
that could be an issue with his ankle, probably.
Yeah,
just
potentially.
Not quite 100%.
Potentially.
But tonight, you saw what happened tonight to Logan. Took a puck off the head. The side of his head. I think it hit him on his left side. I think he was facing the goal, and it kind of came this way and hit him. Always scary for Logan because he's had many concussion issues. A lot of them pre-Sharks, actually. When he was on the Ottawa 67s, he missed a lot of time from concussions. He's a big proponent of concussion awareness, I guess you call it, research. Yeah. So I wouldn't be surprised if it could have been precautionary tonight. It could be, if it's bad, I wouldn't be surprised if they shut him down for the season.
Yeah.
Because there's only
doesn't make sense.
3 weeks, 4 weeks left. 3 weeks now at this point.
So Logan takes a puck to the head, and then Timo takes a chop to the hands.
That was brutal, man.
That was, knocked his glove straight off and everything too.
I hope the league, laughable, but I hope the league comes back and fines him for that.
Oh yeah, all $5,000 that the guy doesn't care about. Sure.
Right, but still something that, hey, we saw that happened. That shouldn't have happened. Should have been at least a 2-minute.
Yeah.
I mean, that could have been a 5-minute. The way if he broke his finger.
He was sitting on his butt and he tomahawked him down. Come on, man, that's nuts. So. I think that he was upset that Timo's stick was in his skates or something, I think is what it was. But still, that just seems a little much to me. So, hopefully Timo's all right. I think he came back out and he was playing after that had happened. And I heard, I think it was Hedekin was on the radio, and he was saying, he goes, yeah, there goes Timo. running around like a cannonball, taking his aggression out on anybody he can find. So he went out there and he blasted. Now, you guys didn't see it because the camera's pointed at me right now, but Aaron just made a little move with his eyes, and now he's making a move with the hand. Oh, he's getting a sip of water. Okay, he looked down at the Timo clock. For those of you listening on the podcast, for those of you listening on the podcast, the Timo time clock is down. So, I don't know, you gave it a look just there. What do you think? No?
I thought he played better after he got slashed, so maybe someone should slash him before the game starts every game.
That's rude.
Because
I like it, but it's rude.
He played angry.
Yeah.
He played angry, and he was going out and hitting everything time.
That is true.
That kind of kickstarted him. I just don't think it's time yet.
Okay.
It's not yet.
It's not, okay.
No.
Fair enough.
For me.
We'll work our way back to tonight's game, the Ottawa game, by the way, for this week. Again, an area that needs to be protected right in front of Martin Jones. The pass comes from behind the net, goes right into the slot, just a one-timer right up and over. But for me, it's I don't care who the goaltender is. It's hard to blame them on something like that, where you've got them sunk so deep in the net because the puck's behind the net, but no one's protecting in the slot. So pass comes out, easy, one-timer, boom, goes in.
Yeah,
that was the first goal. That's basically the Sharks only got the one to tie it up, and then they went into overtime. So
I mean, I feel like the Sharks do this a lot, where they send their defenseman back to retrieve the puck behind the net, and leave that slot wide open, or expect that the centerman to cover for them.
Right.
In this case, I think it was Couture again on this play. He was covering somebody else that was also pinching in. So there's only at that point it was the winger that was supposed to cover, and they were far. I think it might even been Gambrell. I'm probably wrong, but I remember watching that play over and over. Like, wait a second, like how did this break down? What happened? Burns went behind the net to go get the puck, and the puck squirts out to the slot, and the guy's wide open.
Right.
I feel like that play happened this season, especially happened more often than not.
Yeah, and then so Kane tips it, ties it up. I think it was actually kind of a bit of a tip, and then the puck fluttered, and he knocked it out of midair. If this is the same play I'm remembering,
he tipped it. And it went off of Anderson's shoulder, and then he whacked it out of the air. So I mean, it was like a kind of a bang play. Like it went up, and then he hit it, and you can see Anderson was frustrated. Like, what am I supposed to do?
No,
like,
exactly.
He made the great save on the beginning on the tip, and Anderson's a big guy too. So that if that was any other goalie, that probably would have gone in on the tip anyway.
Yeah.
So good on Kane for being net front presence and having the hand-eye coordination and knock that out of the air.
Crazy hand-eye coordination, absolutely, yeah.
It's a sweet goal.
Really, really nice. So then we go into overtime, and they have a bit of a breakdown in the offensive zone. The Ottawa Senators come breaking up the ice the other direction, and of course, Dylan Gambrell is kind of chasing. I forget who was with them, but kind of gave him the old stick shove.
Jumbo.
Okay, gave him the old stick shove to try to get him to move faster. Maybe it worked, maybe it didn't.
You could tell the breakdown on that play when it first happened. They both kind of went, "Oh no!"
Yeah.
Because Gambrell and Thornton were both stuck deep behind the net, and it was a 2-on-1 at that point from their own zone.
So Gambrell makes his way back as best he can, and it's basically 2-on-1 with Bernsey back, and Bernsey does the same thing he always does on 2-on-1. The human Zamboni.
Again, if Gambrell was expecting that, he should have gone to the other guy, but Burns aggressively went after the same guy that Gambrell was, which left what's his name, Tierney, wide open.
Yeah.
So had Gambrell switched guys, he would have caught up to him, and I think he could have at least gotten there to break up the pass.
Potentially,
break up helped a little bit.
Yeah, I think the way it went. Don't drop the laptop. The way it went, I think Gambrell had to jump over Bernsey's stick because Bernsey was going full on laid out, and Gambrell starts to cut back where the puck is, and he has to jump over Bernsey's stick. Obviously, jumping on the ice not exactly conducive to faster skating. So I know maybe he gets there. If he doesn't have to do that, maybe he doesn't. Who knows? But Tierney puts it in, puts it away. The Sharks at least get a point out of that. At this point, who cares about points really? Because it's pretty much over here. So it's just about effort at this point, right?
It's the week of the ex-Sharks scoring. Against the Sharks.
So for tonight's game, Donskoy
had
gets the game winner because he was it was 4-2 when he put it in. Sharks had a valiant effort at the end there. They got a penalty or a power play rather on Kane getting high sticked. It was too bad he didn't draw blood because they would have had a better chance at the end there. 40-something seconds left. They could have still been on the power play. Oh well.
Scored.
Yeah, probably, but it doesn't matter. So they end up losing 4-3 again. Donskoy scoring the fourth goal there, so it gives them the game-winning goal, which is good for him.
Donskoy for Colorado.
Donskoy for Colorado, yes, of course.
His stick is still here.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's right behind you.
This one here. There's somebody who's a fan of the show that wants this stick, and I'm here to tell you many things. One of them is no, you're not getting this stick. This is this belongs to Super Key Grip Joe. So it's this is Donskoy's stick. When he played, was it?
Yeah, it's pretty.
Yeah, when he played for the Sharks, I had asked him if I could get one of his sticks because Joe really liked Donskoy at the time, and he was kind enough to go grab one for me. So. It's not every day as a grown man you can ask a hockey player for a stick and they'll give you a stick. So.
They usually go, "You want me to sign it so you can sell it and make money off of me and I don't get anything off of it?" That's usually why adults don't get many things signed or not.
Yeah. I've definitely seen a certain adult who asked for a stick for his nephew, got a stick for his nephew, put it underneath the bleacher, asked for another stick from a different player for his nephew, took that and put it under the bleacher, and so he walked out of there with 2 sticks that were signed for his nephew, who I hope was actually for his nephew.
Probably not.
Probably not.
Probably on eBay.
If you're hiding it under a bleacher, it's probably not for him. If it is, hey, great, but I don't know. Anyway, I'm sure we've got some other comments and questions going on here. You want to go ahead and just start firing away?
Ben and Guns 3, greeting guys, long time no see. Maybe too early for this, but what UFAs should we go after this summer, provided we have some cap space to work with?
I can't answer that only because I have to take a full look at the list of UFAs, number one. Number two, we don't know which of those UFAs are going to get re-signed by their teams.
I briefly looked the other day, and now I can't even remember what I saw.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pull it up. Okay. You can keep talking.
I think we'll have a better idea right before free agency. When people
closer to July 1st.
Yeah. I think
I'll read off top names that are not goalies. How about that? Pietrangelo, number 1.
No.
Taylor Hall, Ryan Callahan, Michael Granlund, Justin Schultz, Tyson Barrie, Mikko Koivu, who's 37 now, Mike Green, he's only 34, amazingly.
Really?
Yeah, he's been in the league a long time. Torrey Krug, David Clarkson, he's not playing. Mike Hoffman, that won't happen.
Nope.
Andy Green, Wayne Simmons, Alex Galchenyuk, Sami Vatanen, Carl Soderberg, Martin Hanzal.
Are they all defensemen? What the?
No.
There's a bunch of defensemen you just rattled off.
Clark MacArthur. I mean, these are the top guys that are whatever.
Yeah.
Bodker's another one, which is interesting.
No.
There's just nobody really. There was one.
I would love Torrey Krug.
Torrey Krug is one.
But we don't need.
That's going to be a lot of people are going to go after him.
Yeah.
Same with Pietrangelo if he doesn't re-sign with St. Louis. Maybe Clark MacArthur as a depth winger. He's not even playing this year. Man, Frolik. I mean, these are basically like third, fourth line guys that we already have enough of those with our prospects that would be cheap.
Yeah.
There's nobody that's a top player. Mantha's a restricted free agent, but they're going to re-sign him. So yeah, there's not much out there.
The only guy on that list out of the forwards that I'm even remotely interested in, and it's not going to happen, is Hall. It's the only guy I'm even remotely interested in. The rest of them, like you said, those depth guys, they're going to have those guys that had some experience, NHL experience this season, right? When they started off the season, not so much, right? But as the season's gone on and they were forced to get NHL experience, I think that's going to help carry them a long way throughout the next training camp. And the next development camp and everything else that they do.
I mean, that's why I think our third and fourth lines are actually playing well right now, is because they're the ones that are playing for a roster spot for next season. Not that they're free agents, but they're fighting for an actual roster spot and not playing the Barracuda next season. So they're busting their tails off and putting in some good efforts and scoring and getting good chances. They just have more motivation than the top 6 do, most of the top 6.
I mean, in terms of UFAs, even on our squad, I would say let's look at getting Melker Karlsson back. I'm cool with Melker.
Yeah.
And definitely Nason.
Yes.
Absolutely,
I think
100% Nason. I'm so happy with that waiver claim. That was a great claim by Sharks there on that one. So super happy to have him. Hopefully he comes back. I would love to have him come back. This is a guy that, he was a first rounder. I think it was 21st or something overall. Mm-hmm. He kind of fell off a little bit, came back. He's trying to make his comeback, and the Sharks grab him, and he kind of puts a stamp on it and says, I'm I'm an NHL caliber player, you know. So I would love to see him come back. I'd love to see him contribute. I could definitely even see him. I know he's on the older end now, but I think he could still develop just a little bit more.
Third line guy.
Yeah, third line guy.
Line.
Exactly. Yeah, I could definitely see him as one of those guys that, you know, you get an injury on your second line and you can push him up and it's not a problem, right?
Yep.
He's one of those guys to me. So I would love to see him come back. He's one of those that you can kind of plug up and down the roster.
Where was I? Anthony Sanchez, trade Couture. He's just a magnet for pucks to hit him in the face. It's a joke.
You know what? The funny thing is, I saw something on Twitter where someone was saying, you know, Logan's garbage, and here's why. If it was Joe Pavelski, it would have bounced off his face and put it in the net. I was like, come on, man, that's rude.
That's funny.
But yeah, no, it's funny. Yeah, no, I poor Logan, man. This guy just can't catch a break.
At least it wasn't his teeth again.
That's true. Yeah.
The bright side, I guess. I actually getting hit in the temple's worse.
Yeah.
Getting hit in the mouth for concussion issues.
Yeah, for sure.
Zach Croft, thoughts on Kevin Labanc? The guy's not performing great? Question mark. I will read everything on the teleprompter.
That was a good opener. When we did that one, that was good. Yeah.
Kevin Labanc, man, I think today's starting lineup, he was on the fourth line when they announced the lineup. I'm pretty sure or it's either tonight's or yesterday's. I can't remember. But I was like, wow, man. Either they're really trying to spread out the scoring or they're trying to send a message to this guy because he is, again, not doing the 200-foot game. And I heard on the radio, did you hear that? On the face-off, did you hear Brett Hedican?
Yeah, he's got to be prepared.
He wasn't on his toes.
Yeah.
He wasn't ready, and he got beat on a 50-50 on the puck deep in their zone when they're trying to score with their goalie pulled. That's just unacceptable to me.
Yeah.
It's not like he hasn't had his chances to correct all this. He just can't go 100% of the game.
Yeah, I mean, if he did start on the fourth line, you're talking about bringing guys from the AHL who have no choice. They have to bring these guys up because they just need warm bodies at this point. And you still have Kevin Labanc on the fourth line? Like, talk about squandered opportunities. 1 year, $1 million. I'm going to show everybody that I can be a leader on this team too, and that I can be trusted for that 200-foot game. And it's just not happening, you know? So, you know, we talk about, you know, guys that are UFAs that maybe we want to bring in. I'm much more open to the idea of a trade involving Kevin Labanc to bring somebody else in. If the UFA market isn't strong enough for what we need, which would be kind of the prime younger type players, maybe unloading a guy like Kevin Labanc who's just not working out. It's unfortunate, but he's just not working out. Give him an opportunity to go somewhere else and let him shine somewhere else. If they can polish that up, hey, great, good on them, but it's just not working here in San Jose. Kind of the same thing with Jonas Donskoy. It was not working here in San Jose for Jonas.
Right.
He
said as much.
Exactly.
Too, right?
Yeah. He had said, you know, my game after the 4 years that I had spent there wasn't at the place that I wanted it to be. And so what did he do? He made a move. Great.
But he also, at the same time, he wasn't complaining about the coaching staff. He said, I fully understand why they did it, and I don't blame them at all. Like, it's literally what he said.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like he was getting buried because he wasn't performing well.
Right.
I mean, I guess because he wasn't performing well, but it was his own fault.
I think Kerr's made an observation. He said he's got 2 goals in the last 30-something games that he's had, which is the same thing that happened in San Jose.
Yep.
Despite him having, I think, 15 goals in the season, which would put him like 5th on the San Jose Sharks.
He's not a good second-half performer.
No.
And that's partly probably because he's just not. He can't handle the grind of an 82-game season.
It's tough, man. Yeah. It's 82 games of the best hockey that you could possibly play, right? Against the best competition you could play against.
Yep.
82 games of that, it's tough.
Apparently,
not everybody can do it.
According to Anthony Sanchez, Meyer has confirmed that he has broken his finger. It's just that's so salt in the wound there.
Just like what else can go wrong? What else can go wrong?
That makes me think that they will not suspend the guy for the slash, but possibly fine him. Like taking a look back of it, like wow, you broke his finger on a slash, and it wasn't even called as a penalty in the game. And it was. I mean, you didn't even need to slow down the replay. You see it in real time.
Yeah.
It wasn't hidden. It's unreal that I mean, that's just this season's already down the toilet, so let the refs just keep continuing to mess with the Sharks. There's a lot of words I want to use that I can't use right now. Sorry. Taylor Hall is the best UFA.
Yeah,
correct, but that also means all the other teams are going to want him.
Yeah.
Doug Wilson should try and get Tierney back. I think we talked about this kind of jokingly last week.
No, I wasn't joking.
Because he's a UFA or a RFA.
I wasn't joking. I would take Chris Tierney back.
But we'd have to trade for him. We wouldn't have to. We can't sign him.
That's fine. Would Ottawa like a supreme offensive talent that can't play 200 feet? We got one of those.
For $1 million, he's cheap. Yeah, they'll take him.
Yeah, there you go. He's cheap. They'll take him. Nice.
They're cheap.
Like the salary floor is the salary cap to them. Like,
yes.
Just try to get ready. Anyway, what else we got?
People just talking smack about Labanc. Lundy said there's no $sign in that bank. Okay, Anthony Sanchez. If you had to pick only one player, who do you keep? Melker, Gambrell, or Nason?
Okay, wait. No, Gambrell's RFA, so you're going to keep him regardless unless you're trading him away. So Gambrell, you can't really add to that list. Between the UFAs, who do I keep? I feel like you can go out and find a PK specialist in replacement in Melker, right? I think you could replace him more easily. I would like to see Stefan Nason and see what else he can bring.
I think Nason brings a little more to the table than Melker.
Yeah, for sure.
He's probably younger too. Let me take a look real quick.
He brings more of a scoring punch, and we've seen him play in all situations as well. I believe he might have played on the PK. I'm not sure actually, but I could definitely see him playing on the PK if he's not already.
He's 2 years younger. Yeah. Melker's 29 and Nason's 27.
It's a wash, whatever. Yeah.
But Nason is playing at the minimum, $700,000.
For me, I like more of what Nason brings. I like Melker's PK ability, but beyond that, I mean, he did have that breakaway goal tonight, even, right? Put it 5-0 on him, I think, was what it was. But those are so few and far between. Whereas I think Nason's got a little more upside, and I think Nason can. Yeah. I still think Nason could develop just a little bit more. People say that he's done and over with in terms of his development, but it's also not NHL 20. There are late bloomers. So I don't know. I feel like he could get just a little bit better, and I'd like to see what he can bring come back to the Sharks. So for me, between those two at least, I would pick Nason. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the same. I mean, Melker's making $2 million. He's probably going to want either the same or a little bit more. Whereas Nason's at the minimum. You could probably sign him for less than $2 million.
Yeah.
I think it's just worth it cap wise. They're maybe not the same player. I think Nason's a little speedier than Melker.
Okay.
But other than that, they're kind of similar. So at that point, I mean, this is the problem in this salary cap era is Melker Karlsson at $2 million. People are complaining about that salary and how he's overpaid. Those kinds of players are getting squeezed out by the time they're 30 years old. He's turning 30 because you're going to have younger guys that could do the exact same job that you're already doing for cheaper.
Yeah.
So those guys are kind of getting screwed in a way. And the other guys, you look at the other way, Couture, Kane, Meyer, those guys are getting paid the top big bucks.
Yeah.
And these little guys are getting squeezed out of the league. So, yeah, I'm sure Melker will land somewhere, but I also think he's only got a couple years left, maybe until he's about 35 at the most. So, it's just kind of sad to see. It'll be interesting to see if they change anything in the CBA agreement. I don't know how they will.
And it may be worth it to him to take kind of that hometown discount in terms of, not having to move, from one city to the next for a couple years. The next contract he gets, I can't imagine it's going to be more than like a 2-year, right? So, maybe that's worth it to him to take a bit of a pay cut if that means he can stay put in San Jose.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Anthony is talking about Donskoy's quote. He said, "I needed to develop my game, and I was just in a stuck position." Yeah. I say that was a shot at DeBoer. No, if you keep reading the whole thing, actually, or I think it was reading because it was it in The Athletic or was it on somewhere else? He goes on to say that he doesn't blame DeBoer at all. In fact, he praises DeBoer because he gave him a shot in the NHL and thought, everything that DeBoer did in terms of benching him, scratching him, and all that was completely justified. So he had no hard feelings about it whatsoever.
Cool.
So, yeah. Would you trade Gambrell for Tierney, Anthony Sanchez? That's a tough one. I'd say yes.
I don't. Are you guys really high on Gambrell? I have a question for the folks that are commenting.
It's a good question.
Are you high on Gambrell? I'm not so sure. I'm honestly not so sure. I think he brings more in terms of the 200-foot game than Labanc does, but he's not going to be a guy that's going to produce as offensively, I don't think. I think that's what some people think. I think Gambrell was going to kind of blossom into somebody who's going to be, their second line center at some point, and I just don't see that happening. But that's me. I don't know. Maybe
I think he's a little. I mean, how young is he? He's 23. He still has another year in his entry-level contract at $700,000. I'm hoping. I think he's been getting better. I think he looks better in the last month than he had earlier in the season. But I don't know if he can make that jump any higher than what he's at.
That's kind of where I'm at right now too.
He's kind of small, undersized.
I don't see Gambrell.
I don't see him
jumping
winning
much higher than like a third line center.
Yeah, he doesn't win those 50-50 battles because he's just too physically small.
Yeah.
His skill is good. It's there. It's good for a third liner.
So I don't know if I would trade Gambrell necessarily for Tierney, but I think I would rather have Tierney than Gambrell, if that makes any sense whatsoever.
I mean, with Tierney, you already know what you're getting.
Oh, yeah.
It's not like we have to scout him or anything, but he's got a scoring touch, and I think Tierney, to me, he's a guy who's a third-line center who could jump in and fill in on the second.
Absolutely.
Not so much the first, but definitely the second, and he wouldn't look out of place.
Hey, man, he was a first-line center in Ottawa, okay?
Barclay Goodrow was a first-line center in the Sharks.
And we let him go.
For a first-rounder.
Yeah, it's true.
A lot of people are saying, Luke said, no, not high on Gambrell at all. Do not think he's NHL caliber.
Okay. I think he's NHL caliber, but just not. You're not going to see his name in the headlines anytime soon. Let's put it that way.
Gambrell, this is Anthony Sanchez.
Okay.
Gambrell makes simple plays more difficult. He plays with an average puck skills and doesn't provide any puck board battles. Ben says, once heard he has a hockey IQ of Pavelski, but I'm not seeing it right now.
Did you hear that from the Sharks scouting staff by chance? Because that would make sense.
About the Pavelski?
Yeah,
I've heard that before.
But yeah,
the IQ part.
Right. If they're saying, oh, he's got such great IQ, well, yeah, of course the guys that scout and draft him are going to be
that's why
him
they
up, right?
drafted him,
yeah.
basically. There was another one. Bone Castro. Can this team survive with Burns and Carlson? I don't think so, which is why I think Burns should get moved in the offseason.
Isn't it funny, like how our perspective on that has shifted a little bit, right?
I just too many mistakes on the back end and turnovers, especially with both of them in the lineup.
Yeah,
because they're both similar players and they're going for the home run pass. I think you have one of those guys on your team, and you're dangerous. In terms of dangerous is a good thing, like offensively dangerous. When you have two, then it's kind of kicking back the other way too much.
Yeah.
For as
it's
much
almost
as it's going
too
out.
much risk.
Exactly.
For the reward, right?
That's what I think. Yeah. And speaking of Carlson, what do you think of all the negative EK65 talk around San Jose, a.k.a. every Sharks media post? That's from Global Awakening.
Negative in what sense? Because
a lot of people don't like Carlson. What do you think about that?
Okay. Yeah, I don't know that I really even have an opinion on it, to be honest with you. Like, we don't know what's going on in that locker room. All the media guys can say whatever it is that they want to say about it, but the guys that are there in that locker room are really the only ones that get affected by one's behavior. It's something that we may look at and say, well, he's being a jerk or whatever. We look too far into it as fans or as like media folks might do. I think the players, they may or may not care about a certain way that player is acting. It may or may not affect the locker room. It may or may not affect the play on the ice at all. Who knows? When Carlson and Dylan kind of were at each other's throats for a bit there, I think it was last season, did that really affect them? Maybe, maybe not. I mean, it sounds bad to us. But no, exactly. That's what I mean.
I think Carlson is, I don't want to say misunderstood. That's right. In that situation,
yeah,
he's one of those players, and I've played with people like this who are very emotional players, and they don't hold back when they're playing. Everything just comes out, and when they're frustrated, they're frustrated. Yeah. When they're happy, they're happy. When they're angry, they're angry, either with you or at you or whatever. Your own teammate. And then when you get off the ice, or for me off the field, they're completely different. Nice guys, great, good teammates. Everything's great. You just know that when you go on that field, like be prepared to get ripped,
right?
And just don't take it personal.
And that's what I'm getting at. I guess is that we only see a certain side of these guys, right? We
We hear it on the ice.
exactly. Yeah. So how they are, outside of just playing the game, like in the locker rooms, their own free time when they hang out with each other and all that stuff, we don't get to see any of that stuff. We don't know about any of that. So in terms of the relationships and if he's considered a quote unquote cancer in the room or any of that stuff, I mean, all that you hear about is all speculation from the players themselves. If I hear it from a player, if let's say Carlson got traded away or something like that, and somebody in the locker room comes out and says, hey, good, things weren't working out in here. Okay, cool, now you know. But, I mean, everything else is just kind of speculation and them, especially with media folks, trying to drum up some sort of a story, something for you to read because that's what they want to do. They want to sell their subscriptions, right? So, I don't know how much I buy into all of that. I think just let them play. And I don't know that I even have an opinion, really, on the whole thing with Erik Karlsson. I mean, look, it could be something with any of the other players that we don't know about at all because it doesn't get any media coverage. Maybe there's a problem that's in the locker room that has, like Stefan Noesen. Maybe Stefan Noesen's got a chip on his shoulder for being a guy that was perpetually not in the NHL, and now he's getting his shot and he's trying to prove something to somebody, and he's causing a rift in the locker room. But you would never hear about that because no one says anything. So, he's not a big name like Erik Karlsson would be, So, I don't know. I don't know how much weight I put into any of that stuff because you just never know. You're not part of that room, right?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, I think it's just a little overblown. Plus, he gets injured a lot, and people get upset about that.
Yeah.
But, it's hockey. Where did I end up? Luke, not just Burns and Karlsson, but Burns, Karlsson, and Marc-Edouard Vlasic contracts are huge right now. In 3 years, these contracts will be a disaster.
In 3 years, we're going to have a lot more cap space, and those contracts won't look as big as they currently do. That's my take on it.
Right now, Burns is 8, Vlasic is 7,
yeah,
and
Karlsson's
Karlsson's 11.5.
Yeah,
it's a lot of money, which is why I think they should move Burns. That just frees up a lot more stuff, not just cap wise, but also in the back end, kind of.
And you have to remember, in 3 years, I mean, look, Mario Ferraro, right? This is a guy still on his entry-level contract. There's going to be other guys that we bring up and bring in that are going to be on their entry-level contracts. Merkley, right? He's going to be, that's a blue liner. But, yeah, I mean, we're talking about some of the forwards that we have that, eventually they'll make their way up, right? So, in terms of it being a disaster, I don't think so. I think it's actually... If anything, they might start expiring right around the right time when the guys that are just coming into the league, like in next year or the year after, when they need to get a good pay raise, right? If we get a good prospect who's, just a star in the league and he's still on his entry level contract for whatever scenario that would actually happen for us, by the time one of those contracts expires, you'd need to pay him a good chunk of money, right? So I don't think it's disastrous. I don't think it's as disastrous as people making it out to be. Again, I think it's a little overblown, to use your word. So I don't know. I'm honestly not that worried about it. Now, I would still love to see something happen where we do free up some of that cap space and we bring in a stud. And then I kind of had half-jokingly said Taylor Hall. I would love to see him come in and play, but, I mean, the amount of money he's going to command.
We need more of a right winger than a left winger.
Yeah, you know what, though? You have lots of left wingers that you can use as a package to get something else that you need, right?
Okay, then who would you move as a left winger? Kane?
So we got Kane. Timo's been playing right wing too, though, right?
Yeah.
So, but he's a left winger.
Right.
Are you what do you call it? Married to keeping Timo on the team? Are you guys married to keeping Timo on the team?
He's only 23. I
understand.
Quite ready to give up on him, but
I wouldn't mind if it means getting a solid right winger that's still young.
Right winger or left winger? You're talking about Taylor Hall.
Yeah, sure. No, I'm saying if it means trading Timo out because Taylor Hall, you just have to pay him.
Right.
Then he's on your team. You don't have to trade anything. If you were to trade a guy like Timo Meier and get a young right winger that maybe isn't working out for a different team.
Well, Anthony...
Who needs a left winger, right?
Was it Anthony? Who just said it?
I mean, that's one of the things that Doug Wilson does with his trades is he makes sure that...
Yeah, Anthony Sanchez. Should the Sharks make a move to get Tom Wilson during the offseason from Washington? Do you know Tom Wilson?
Yeah, I could see that.
I don't see that happening.
No, I mean, I'm not saying I see it happening. I could see it making sense, but that
would make the Sharks grittier.
Yeah,
basically.
for sure. But he's got a good. He's talented too.
I just can't imagine Washington trading him unless there was a problem with him, because he's like the heart and soul of that team, even more so than Ovechkin.
How many years does he have on his contract?
And left?
Yeah.
Just looked at.
Or are they saying he's a UFA?
No, he's not a UFA.
Okay. For a trade, I'm not sure if I see.
He's got 4 more seasons after this at $5.1 million.
Oh no! Never mind.
I just don't see them. I don't see Washington parting ways with them unless they got stuck in cap problems and he wasn't performing. But I don't see it.
No, I can't see grabbing Tom Wilson for 4 more years at 5 something. I don't see that happening.
Another Anthony. Sharks locker room issues begin when Couture called out Labanc and Meyer. Couture is not captain material. He is a leader by example, not a leader that says, "Follow me, boys. I got this."
When we just did an episode 80, we talked about Logan being captain material.
Right.
I'm not sure if I buy into that. Again,
I think
he's
just a different type of captain that people aren't used to, and that makes people say that he's not captain material.
Yeah, and we talked about this too, him calling them out in the media. Trust me, he called them out in the locker room before he bothered calling them out in the media. Just the difference to me, and it took me by surprise a little bit too, because generally you'll talk to those guys behind closed doors and you'll call them out behind closed doors, and you spare them the media, because the media, again, wants you to blow up that story, to sell their subscriptions, and to do whatever else. But I think that I still think he's good captain material. I think he leads by example. I don't think he just goes out there. I mean, what else do you need right now? You need a guy who does lead by example. You need those guys to see somebody working hard out there all the time. Now, maybe tonight wasn't the best effort. Again, maybe he was still injured or whatever it was. Or that one back check where it was in Ottawa, actually, where he didn't catch that guy, and he could have. But I mean, this is a guy that he got hit in the face again tonight. Every time this guy gets injured, he tries to come back. I mean, he when he came back just this last time around, he was saying, we've had a rough week with the whole trade deadline. I wanted to be back for the boys. For me, that's a guy who cares about his team and is trying to be their leader. He's trying to get back and captain this team, even in a lost season, even when he's just coming back from injury, and it's just because the guys are feeling down. Like, to me, that's captain material, and I can appreciate that. So I don't know if you can if we're trying to pin the whole season on Logan Couture having a C on his chest. I'm not buying that at all. Let's put it that way.
Global Awakening. What are the odds of Dylan coming back to San Jose after the season? We talked about this last week. Probably slim to none, just because he is going to be a UFA. He's going to hit the free agent market. Yeah. I think he's on the Washington Capitals. They're going to go probably far in the playoffs. So he's going to be showcasing. He already is showcasing what he can do with the grit and everything else. He's been in a couple fights.
Fought Malkin.
Yeah, Malkin. There's another one last week. I forgot who. But yeah, anyway, he drops the gloves and he's sticking up for his teammates. He's a very good teammate. Everyone from here knows that.
Oh, yeah.
So I think now that he's on an East Coast team, more teams are paying attention. He's just getting exposed a lot more to it. So his price is just going up, and the Sharks aren't going to be able to pay him. So I don't think he's going to be coming back to San Jose, mainly because of the cap crunch. We've already spent too much on our blue line, so we're going to be filling those in with the younger guys. Like
Ferraro.
Ferraro's the best example of the guy who's come up and basically made him expendable.
And Shimmick, who will get re-signed, who has not been re-signed yet.
Well,
he's not been re-signed yet. There's no ink to the paper yet.
It's on Cap Friendly, so it's official.
And who's the source?
Doesn't matter.
The source says Cap Friendly.
It's Cap Friendly.
And Cap Friendly is looking at the exact same source from isports.cz or whatever, some Czech website.
2.25 per year.
Yep.
I think it's a fair price for him.
If that's, again,
I can't imagine it being far off from there.
I'm sure it's close. I'm sure it's very close. I've not seen anything from the Sharks saying that is a done deal. There is no ink to paper yet.
Okay.
I'm just saying. Now, he will get re-signed, and it probably will be close to those numbers. But I just thought it was kind of irresponsible for that to just jump out there and, hey, it's done deal. They've not said a single word about that. It's not a done deal yet. The framework's in place. He said that, but it's not to paper yet.
All right, Anthony's clarifying. The reason I say Couture isn't captain material is when he stated that he leads by example and not a vocal leader. The Sharks team will be young and might need a vocal leader. I think people harp on who wears the C too much. I don't think it's... when you're not a high school team, right? You're not a bunch of freshmen led by a senior who's the captain. This is there's younger guys in the league, but they're all professionals. Plus, there's a lot of other vocal leaders in the room, which they always say. There's Thornton, there's Carlson, there's I think Marc-Edouard Vlasic too. Like a bunch of guys that speak up in the locker room that are vocal leaders and take the leadership. The leadership is kind of a group thing. It's not just one guy that's in there raw. It's not like a movie where it's one guy giving a passionate speech and everyone's like, yeah, running through a brick wall afterwards. So don't harp too much on who's wearing the C, because a lot of guys are not wearing the C and are just as vocal as a captain would be.
Don't ruin it for me.
Dylan was one of them too.
Yeah.
Dylan was a very vocal guy that was a very good teammate. I'm sorry.
No, don't ruin it for me.
I'm sorry.
I still believe. I believe that there's one guy doing the rah-rah, and they bust through the wall like the Kool-Aid guy.
Oh, yeah.
Hate that guy.
It's the one.
Really?
How can you hate a cartoon?
I had nightmares of that as a kid.
Did you really?
Try running from something that can crush through walls. How terrifying for like a 5-year-old.
Have you seen the coach of the Kansas City Chiefs?
Oh, yeah.
He's really big and he wears red. And
Oh,
someone made a
gosh.
GIF of him when he runs into the
Oh, my
locker room
goodness,
of him
that's
running through
terrible.
the wall going like this.
That's
Oh, it's
terrible.
perfect. It's perfect. It's so good.
Nice.
Andy,
All right.
Andy Reid is his name.
What else?
Dylan could return his fiance works in a local Las Gatos bridal store. Doesn't mean she won't move once he gets signed. I bet once he gets signed to a team full time, she'll be out of here.
Yeah, I feel like unless she's making millions and millions of dollars doing the bridal boutique thing, which would be awesome, they're probably going to go where he goes, and that's just something that happens in professional sports, right? So, and even with Melinda and Eric, I mean, she said, look, this is your deal, man. Like wherever you go to play, don't worry about me. I'm gonna move with you, and that's just gonna be where we are, right? So
I don't want to generalize or anything, but most of the women that are married to NHL players know that that's the deal. Is they could get traded and moved. And they were gonna be living in one of the NHL cities at some point, right?
It's hockey life. It's professional sport life,
and they're gonna have that life from the time that whenever they get married to retirement.
Yeah,
that's what's gonna happen. So. I don't think it's that big of a deal. He's not going to come back just because his fiance works at a bridal shop in Las Gatos. Sorry,
a boutique.
Who are you guys? This is Zinksy. Who are you guys rooting for in this playoffs? Pavs in Dallas, Dilly in Washington, Donnie and Nieto in Colorado, or Patty in Pittsburgh?
First of all, I'm rooting for you to come back to the club and play NHL 20 with us, Zinksy. We've got a couple really good players. I think you'd mesh in really well with them. So. Give us another try, okay? Who are we rooting for? Who do you want?
Man, I still think, for me, it's too hard to root for Pittsburgh. It's too hard to root for Dallas. I like Colorado. I wouldn't mind Colorado so much. I would have liked them a lot more had Joe gone there, Thornton, if he got traded there. I would have been rooting hard for the Avalanche. I think for me personally, I want the Capitals to win again. I like Dilly. I like the Capitals. That's who I want.
Yeah, see, I'm a little torn just like you, right? Because I think Marlowe's only got so many years left, obviously, so you only get so many more chances at this. Dilly is a little bit younger. A lot younger, and he's got plenty more chances at this. So while he's like my favorite guy from the Sharks, that again, I went to all the practices and whatnot, and he was like the most personable dude you'll ever meet. Really great guy on and off the ice. So I would love to see him win a cup. I have a hard time with having him win it before Patty wins it, only because Patty's been doing it for so long. And Patty's coming back to San Jose. You got to know, man, he's coming back, right? But regardless, I have a hard time rooting for Pittsburgh. I can't do it. So I'm kind of stuck too. I don't know.
I can't root for Marlowe because can you imagine the storm that would come back of the Sharks choking and Mr. Shark couldn't win it in San Jose, but he can win it in Pittsburgh? That's just no.
I have a prediction.
Okay.
An NHL player gets coronavirus and they shut everything down.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Wah, wah.
All right.
Yeah. Wow. Joe Dodge, our St. Louis resident. I think they will root for their Western Conference friends in St. Louis, meaning us.
We don't have anybody on St. Louis, though.
You guys just won last year. I don't like back-to-backs.
Yeah, that's true.
I like to spread the love around.
Sorry, buddy. We love you for joining us on the show, but we don't love your team.
And Ben
unfortunately.
said, if anyone says Pete DeBoer in Vegas, please leave now.
I don't want.
I agree.
I don't want Pete DeBoer to win. Yeah. No, but back to honestly with the Blues, if they had one of our players, perhaps, and if they hadn't just won it again, perhaps. But you got 2 strikes against you right there. So sorry, that's enough for me. You're out.
There's also DeMello in Winnipeg and Lundy. Thank you for the $1.99. Oh. Who do you think he said?
Lundy?
Yeah.
Oh, it's got to be Bronner in Philly.
There you go. There I didn't even have to say it.
Yeah.
He said, "How about Philly? Go Braun."
Okay. All right. Yeah, I don't know. I have a hard time because, like I said, for me, I would like Marleau to get his cup done and out of the way. I can't root for Pittsburgh. I'm stuck.
The NHL is closing dressing rooms to media.
All sports are.
Yeah.
Major League Soccer did as well.
Yeah.
They just had San Jose Earthquakes play yesterday.
Yeah.
No media access.
Yep.
So
and I understand that. Like, to me, that's probably... To me, that would be the Players Association saying, hey, we have to protect our assets.
Right.
And the teams, too. We have to protect the assets. If one guy gets the coronavirus, they have to be shut down for 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. They have to be quarantined for 2 weeks. And then everyone who's been exposed to that person has to be shut down for 2 weeks. Yeah. Can you imagine? So if they can control it as much as they can, plus they hate the media. The players hate talking to the media. Absolutely hate it. This is a perfect excuse for them to be like, sorry.
Yeah.
No media afterwards. Don't want to get the coronavirus. Yeah. So, yeah, I understand it.
Nice.
Gaudreau was in Tampa as well. Could root for Gaudreau.
Ooh, yeah.
I don't like Tampa as much.
I wouldn't mind rooting for Tampa. They got smoked last year. And
it was great.
And it was great.
Oh, I love it.
But
I love when the President's Trophy just crashes and burns. Especially getting swept.
Yeah.
I remember, actually, Game 1, they were up 3-0 in the first period.
Okay.
Tampa Bay was. And I was like, oh, man, they are just going to blow through all these guys. And then that same game,
you know what?
They came back and won.
I remember that, actually.
Yeah.
Here's why I remember that, because you were gloating about how Bobrovsky was getting lit up. It's just going to be, he's going to get destroyed, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And then I'm like, dude, check that score one more time. They're coming back. Dude is tied. Dude, they're ahead. And then they swept him. Oh, God, that was beautiful.
Yep.
Bobrovsky.
So funny. Yeah, Bobrovsky.
Sanchez, Gamer Day was today. I wish the Sharks would have promoted it more. We promoted it.
We did.
We tried to help.
Yeah.
We did what we could.
In fact, if you want to see how we promoted it, we have our Spotlight episode, which is right before 80, wasn't it? It was the episode before 80 that we put out.
It came out on Monday.
And we put it in 80, too.
We put it in 80 as well. Yeah, that's true.
Yep. Yeah. We didn't get to
partake.
Go.
Yeah.
I've been busy day today.
I actually had our roller tournament and everything today as well, so was busy.
How'd you guys do?
Oh, we did not go well. No. It did not go well. You know what, though? Here's the thing. We've got mostly 6-year-olds and some 7-year-olds. Mm-hmm. No true 8-year-olds, and certainly no 9-year-olds that were qualified because they were 8 beforehand. So we're a very young team that should mostly just stick to playing. So you're getting good experience for next year. We're getting very good experience, yeah.
That helps, I think.
I hope, because, it did not go very well for San Jose Venom. But the Pure Octane, which is another team that's out of the Silver Creek Sportsplex, they actually did pretty well. They got second place in the tournament. Congratulations to those guys. But those Bulldogs from Southern California are just so good. Yeah. So, yeah. Congratulations to those guys. What's that?
Are they Anaheim?
Yeah, they're like Irvine, Huntington Beach, that area, I believe, because those are the tournaments we've seen them in, along as the ones that they play up there. So congratulations to all those teams. You guys have all played really, really well.
Cool.
There you go.
Let's do a roll call real quick. Tell us where you're watching and how you found us. And super producer Jason will pop those up on the screen. Did you guys actually forget about Braun? No, we were just ignoring him.
I did. I forgot.
I didn't.
Just to make you mad, Lundy.
Tampa's going to get smoked. And then Lundy said, I just hope the Wild don't win. The Wild won't win.
Yeah, no.
No. They'll be out in the first round. Guaranteed. They're too old. What else do you want to talk about?
I was hoping they would come up with some stuff, whatever they want to do here. Yeah, this is the live shows. These are for you guys. So we don't really have a whole lot of topics generally that we try to hit on specifically. Right at the top of these, since this is an episode, it's not just a pre-shoot, right? Right at the top of these, we kind of go through some of those games. Again, we talked about the games in the week at the very beginning. If you missed that part, feel free to go back and check that again. We kind of just touched on them, really. But
let's talk about this upcoming week then.
Yeah.
Wednesday, we're playing in Chicago. Friday in St. Louis, and then Saturday in Dallas. A little road trip going on.
We better win in Chicago.
We should beat Chicago.
We should.
Leonard's not there anymore.
Yeah,
and he was a better goalie, I think, than Crawford.
I believe so. Yeah.
So I think that's a winnable game. Friday in St. Louis, probably not winnable.
I wouldn't say not winnable, but probably not going to win.
Well, it's also going to depend on Couture.
That's true. It might not be winnable.
And Timo. If Timo's out.
Timo, yeah.
If it's a real bad break and he needs surgery, then he's going to be out.
Yeah.
If he doesn't need surgery, he might play and probably just put like some kind of metal rod
at this
in or
point,
something.
why even bother risking it, though? Just shut him down.
Yep.
Just shut him down.
So this week's going to be brutal. And then they're playing in Dallas on Saturday.
Yeah, no, it's not going to be a very good week.
Chicago could be a win.
Yeah.
So probably 1 win out of 3 games. That'd be my guess. Plus, they don't play until Wednesday, so they get a little bit of a break.
Yeah.
Which could benefit.
The one thing, though, is, we've always talked about, hey, go see the San Jose Barracuda. This is the future of the Sharks, right? Get a good look at all these younger prospects and what they might bring to the team. Now you don't have to watch the Barracuda. You can just watch the Sharks.
They're all up on the Sharks.
They're all up on the Sharks now. Seriously, I wonder how many. This must be like a record. How many AHL players at the beginning of the season that got called up and have been playing with the big team, right?
Yeah.
I wonder how many guys have actually rotated in for the Sharks and what the all-time most is during the course of a season, because we got to be up there. This is insane.
Probably not since we started as a team. I mean,
okay,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The draft lottery. This is from Navy. NHL settling on the date for the draft lottery, as reported by Sportsnet Chris Johnston. It appears that the NHL will be holding the upcoming draft lottery on April 9th, the second scheduled day of the playoffs. So we'll know our fate in a month from now. What's today? Today is the 8th. Yeah, 1 month from now. We'll know how good or bad that pick is going to be that we don't have.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter, honestly.
Yep. I guess it doesn't matter. Luke, 2 ex-Sharks beat the Sharks with game-winning goals in back-to-back games. I wonder if that's a first. That's got to be a first. Back-to-back games?
Yeah.
Game-winning goals, those are kind of rare.
Yeah.
So, I bet that goes down as the first time that's ever happened.
Probably.
I mean, those guys were Sharks.
It would only make sense.
2 years ago?
We always seem to have those records that are the records you don't want.
Right.
Right? So, yeah, probably.
Yeah, 2 years ago, those guys were teammates on the Sharks.
Yeah.
Not last season, but the one before.
Right.
Yeah. Anthony says, I personally hope Dallas gets bounced early in the playoffs.
Why? Just curious why.
I just don't like Dallas.
Well, I'm saying him.
I know, but I agree with him.
Okay.
I just don't like the Stars.
You just don't like him.
I was a big fan's not the right word. I hated the Dallas Stars in the late 90s.
Yeah.
Early 2000s with Belfour and all them. So that hatred, I just don't know if it will ever leave.
All right. I've separated myself from that finally. But no, I too remember those days.
Yeah.
Eddie the Eagle and the Owen Nolan body check. Beautiful.
Yes. Just destroyed. I think we've talked about that before.
We have.
On one of our shows, and I put the clip in there. I just saw some bunch of stuff bounce in here.
Okay.
If Timo gets shut down, this is from Jam Master J. If Timo gets shut down, I would like to see Habelgavax get called up.
Not gonna work here anymore.
At this point, it's a revolving door. Let them all get a shot.
That's what I think. I think we should just give guys, 5 games. You get a 5-game tryout. Come on up.
Yep.
If you're doing well, then you stick. If not, then the next guy comes up for another 5 games.
Hey, you on the Zamboni?
We don't need a goalie. We're fine in the goalie department.
Worked
Are
in
you
Carolina.
sure? Are you sure?
Thoughts on the Shimmick gaffes yesterday?
The Shimmick gaffes. I don't remember yesterday's game in all its entirety, to be honest with you. Do you recall?
No, but no.
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 I have no thoughts on the Shimmick gaffes yesterday. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
It's been a very long weekend for me. So, yeah.
I don't know. Maybe his knee's just not quite back to normal.
Okay. And you got to remember he's still...
Or now he got paid.
But he didn't, though.
Only he would know.
Well, it's... Again, the framework is there. When they sign someone, they announce it. And we see it, too. You know how we see it. So,
yeah,
we haven't seen that either. So...
Anthony Sanchez, I could see Wilson packaging Merkley in a trade for a top right winger. It depends on who the right winger is, but I would think there's not many that are protected in a way or not tradable.
See, again, for me, and I've talked about this before, Ryan Merkley is still kind of that wild card. You know what he can bring. You just don't know if he's going to bring it. And if he's going to be a locker room presence and whatever else, all the other issues aside, right? You're just not sure what he's going to be. It's kind of like a first-round pick. You're not really sure what that guy's going to be. Is it highly valued? Yeah, absolutely. The guy that you pick, could he be a Mirko Mueller? Could he be an Erik Karlsson? You don't really know until after you develop that player. So for me, Ryan Merkley is kind of that wild card. You're really not sure what you're getting with him. You know what he's capable of, but can you get it out of him? So I could see him being an asset in that same sense, right? If you're able to get something that you need and that you know what the quantity is. Okay, I know that this right winger is, a guy who's going to score lots of goals. He's got a good 200-foot game, blah, 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 whatever else. If that team is looking for a guy like Ryan Merkley, then okay, sure, yeah, absolutely make that trade. I'd be more than happy with that. I like getting the known quantity more so than the questionable thing, which is for me why I don't really have a problem with Doug Wilson trading first-round picks to go get talent that he already knows what that talent is, right? So I have no problem with that. Now, Evander Kane, I think was 21st or 29th overall pick that it turned into the first that we traded for Evander Kane.
Yeah.
I think it was the 29th. I'm not sure. But if it was, say 29th, whatever. Whoever you were going to pick at that spot, is that player going to be better than Evander Kane? Maybe. Doubtful.
Very doubtful.
Very doubtful. I would rather have Evander Kane. Yes, you're missing out on some of the younger years of Evander Kane and having him grow, but you're also getting him in his prime. So I'm fine with that, right? For me, again, I would rather take the known quantity. That's me.
Luke said my love for Pavelski outweighs my hatred for Corey Perry.
Okay. Yeah, that's right.
And
yeah, if you root for Dallas, you got to root for Corey Perry too. And
Ben and Gunsfree, Steve Ott hater here. That goes back.
Okay, yeah, Otter. Yeah,
that's good. And then the Shimmick's gaff was he kicked the puck into the goal, or he kicked the puck in and then covered the puck up in the crease on the same shift. And it caused a penalty shot. Don't forget, I just looked up how many games he's played. He's played 87 NHL games. That's just over a season.
Yeah.
He missed playoffs. He's never played the playoffs because he was hurt last year.
Yeah.
So he has zero playoff experience.
And he will not have any more.
Right, but he's still learning is my point.
Yeah.
He's still very fresh and young, and he hasn't played more than, 40, 50 games in a season?
Well, and he said, 80-something games, but, that's 80-something games including the injury, right, that he was at. So, I mean, it's not like he played, a whole season straight or anything like that. He played a little bit and got hurt, and he's back to being playing again. So, I mean, for me, I think we kind of give him a little bit of leash on the gaffes and whatnot. I think maybe next season we start talking about it a little bit more because he's going to get more money, obviously. So, we'll see how that goes. Hopefully, he continues to develop the way that I think he's going to develop, and he'll be a good, solid, really solid defensive addition to that blue line. So,
yep. Lundy wants to know when you're going to be on NHL 20 next.
Dude, I'm on there a lot though. Like I'm
Tonight.
not so much this week, but I am on there quite a bit. So I'm not sure if we're just missing each other sometimes. I don't know. But I mean, I've been playing with Nick and that guy Knight.
Yeah.
And some of the other guys. So I mean, I'll just pop on, and it's funny because I start the PlayStation, and then my phone buzzes because it's Nick saying like to get on to the chat thing and everything. It's like as soon as I turn on, bzz, it's like, all right, cool, here we go. But no, I mean I'm on there and I'm gaming for the most part. I would say like every night, but I'm on there a fair amount. So maybe tonight I'll be there. I don't know. We'll see.
People are talking about trades now. So
okay,
like who to trade Merkley for? Anthony Sanchez, Merkley options for a trade: Kapanen in Toronto, Johnson in Tampa Bay, or Forsberg in Nashville.
I don't think you're going to be able to get Forsberg for Merkley unless you're packaging something else with Merkley.
I feel like Nashville has a pretty good lock on their defenseman anyway.
That too,
they wouldn't want him. Tampa Bay, possibly Toronto for sure. I could see them trading just because of cap space. Those two are really strapped for cap. And getting Merkley he'd be entry level.
You say Kapanen?
Kapanen.
Okay.
In Toronto, yeah.
Yeah.
I'd probably rather have Johnson because he's a center that could play wing.
Mm-hmm.
And the Sharks usually like those guys that could play multiple positions. Wilson offer Big Buff a contract to play right wing. I don't think Bufflin's going to play right wing anymore. I think he's kind of like Burnsy. Like he's going to be a defenseman. You just have better longevity playing at defense than you do playing at wing. So I feel like those guys, yeah, they could. Because we get asked a lot about Burnsy getting moved to right wing. Like, we need a right winger.
Yeah.
Burnsy plays right wing. Well, he hasn't in years, and I don't think he's older. He's 34, turning 35. Like his body will just break down, and he won't be able to produce. I don't think he probably would be out of the lineup more. He'd probably be getting injured more. That's what I think.
Yeah, it's not that he plays right wing; it's that he's played right wing, right? And even when he did that, I think Jumbo was joking with him, like I don't even know where he's going. Like he just kind of goes out there and does his own thing, you know. So I mean, can you teach that to a guy? Obviously, yes. But yeah, I don't see that happening anymore. I think they're kind of done. Now it does make sense if he was still capable of playing that position. It does make sense. Okay, we need a right winger, and Burnsy's. He's quite the goal scorer when you get him in tight like that. I remember that one shot. Jumbo made a pass to him. He was in the slot, and oh my God. When he one-timed this puck, he was trying to put it through the net, through the boards, through the person's head that was sitting in row one. I mean, he pounded this thing, and all he needed to do was tap it in. Like, he had the goalie dead to rights, but he didn't care. He just, like, unloaded a cannon from, like, 2 feet away. It was just nuts. But, yeah, so, I mean, it would make sense, but I think he's done playing right wing.
Burnsy is turning 35 tomorrow, actually.
Yeah. Happy birthday.
That's cool.
Did you see the puck that went through the camera hole, by the way?
No.
So Burnsy goes to clear a puck, puts it through the camera hole, and it goes off one of the metal thing. No, the guy went backed up and went through the camera hole, and it hit like a railing wherever there's some kid there or whatever. And so the kid gets the puck. Burnsy feels bad about it, apparently. He goes and grabs the stick, comes back, puts the stick through the camera hole so the kid gets it. And it's just really cool, you know, yeah. So, you know, for a guy...
Sorry for almost killing you.
For a guy who, you know, I've said at practices and whatnot. And again, this comes down to, you know, a player who is of star caliber, doesn't want to give his sticks away, doesn't want to sign anything for anyone. I've seen him, like, literally walk past everybody. He'll stop for, like, a kid, sign something, and then he just walks past everybody else, which is fine. I get that. Don't get me wrong. But, you know, you see him kind of doing that every single time. You know, you just try to say, hey, man, good practice, or hey, have a good game, have a good day, whatever else, and it's just like, he just goes. You know, you kind of go, man, this guy's kind of just, you know, he's not as personable as you'd like him to be. You know, sometimes the guys that you look up to or whatever, not that I look up to them, but sometimes the guys you look up to, they don't kind of live up to what you think they ought to. But then you see him do something like that, and it brings you back to earth on him. You know, it's like, okay, you know, he really is that. He's a good guy. You know, he goes and grabs his stick in the middle of a game. If he breaks his stick, he's got to go back to that kid and be like, hey, yo, I need my stick back. I'll give it back to you after the game, but, you know, I'm out of stick right now. So, but, you know, he hands it to him in the middle of the game. It's, you know, one of those things you see and you kind of remember, oh, yeah, they're actually good people. So,
Deuce the Shoeless, do you think Burns has regressed this year? We kind of talked about this a month or two ago.
Yeah.
How the strategy changed of the Sharks. Strategy used to be everything went through Burns practically, where there's shots from the point, Pavelski tipping it in, getting chances off of rebounds or just goals off of that. I think their strategy changed, so his points are going to dip. So now he's still the same player he was, making a lot of stretch passes, getting picked off, but also connecting on a lot of those passes. But he's not putting up as many points as he used to, as consistently as he used to. So I feel like that could be a regression, or thought of as a regression. But I think, to me, he's kind of the same player. It's just a different strategy. So he's not getting as many shots. He's not getting as many chances or as many assists off of rebounds or whatever as he used to.
Yeah, I think, once Carlson kind of jumped in there as well, you're really splitting time with those two superstars, right? Whereas you might have double shifted Bernsey on the power play if you really needed a goal, and now you go from Bernsey to Carlson. So his minutes are a little more shared, I think, with Carlson. In terms of the shot generation, I would love to see actually some numbers from this season, last season, and even the season before when Carlson wasn't on the team. In terms of the number of shots that Bernsey's taken, I have a feeling that maybe the number of shots he's taken this season might have dipped. And then, don't discount the fact that, like Aaron just said, their strategy changed. Pavelski's not in front of the net anymore, right? So I think that had a big influence on his shot generation and whatnot. And that's how Bernsey's been so successful over the years, is just he drags that puck across the blue line and then the wrister that magically finds its way to the net every single time, right? I still don't know how he does it, but his ability to get the puck on net is phenomenal. But again, you don't have the guys like Pavelski in front of the net anymore, and that was his warm-up partner before every single practice. It was literally him shooting 80, 90, 100 pucks, whatever it was, at Pavelski, and him just tipping. And yeah, that works on the tipping, but it also, that's one of the things Burns did to, generate points. He had a lot of assists, and a lot of it came off of those shots that were, meant for Pavelski to try to tip. And even if he didn't tip it in, they come and crash the net and try to bang one home, or Pavelski turns around, tries to smack it again. So that's where he was getting a lot of those points. I think that him not being on the team has had an effect on Burns specifically, not necessarily the entire team, but on Burns specifically in terms of point generation. So has he regressed? Maybe, yeah, but I think, has he regressed as a player in his ability and his skill? I don't think so. I think he's still the same Bernsey. I just think that what they're doing right now isn't working as much in his favor as it was when Pavs was still on the team, and especially when Erik Karlsson wasn't on the team as well. Again, you might have to check me on the stats on that one, because I'm not sure if he's actually taking less shots. It just feels like he's taking less shots.
Yeah. Luke, in your honest opinion, who's the best Sharks player in the D zone? Used to be Marc-Edouard Vlasic, but now I'm not so sure. Gaudreau's gone. How about Couture?
It's hard because with Vlasic, he goes up against the best players every single night. So to see him, like tonight, there's a couple of them where I saw and even some of the other games in the league, he's in the defensive zone and a puck kind of squirts out and he's got his back to it and he turns around to get there, but it's just too late, right? Yep. Or he's just, he's missed an assignment. There's a guy off on the right-hand side, and he should be moving over there. He should be, kind of floating around a little bit more, and he doesn't for whatever reason. But again, when you're constantly facing a guy like McKinnon, a guy who's got 90-something points in the season, right?
There's a reason he has that many points in the season.
Exactly. He's a stud.
Good.
He'll destroy anybody. He doesn't care. Now, he may not get as many with Vlasic out there, but he's still going to get his. Trust me, right?
Did you see Kurz's tweet earlier in the night saying that it's amazing how McKinnon consistently looks like the best player on the ice by far, like nobody's even near his level because he's just so good.
Yeah. And you're asking Vlasic to go up against him, right? So it's hard to say now.
But who do you think would be this season? I'd say.
Yeah, best in the defensive zone.
Yeah,
I think Alex True has the best plus minus. Again, useless stat. But no, who do you think? Is it a defenseman, first of all, or is it a forward?
I'd say, everyone has kind of bonehead plays, but I think Šimik and even Ferraro have been very consistent. Not perfect. Nobody's perfect.
Right.
They had their mistakes. We just talked about Šimik's this week. But I feel think of it this way. When you see who's on the ice defending for the Sharks, who makes you the least amount of nervous that the puck's going to go in?
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Who do you have confidence in that they're going to do the right play? I still think Vlasic is up there. Couture, I think, is up there when he's healthy, and I don't think he's healthy. So I think that's a good pick, but I just don't see it, especially this week. He had a couple of the plays where he got burned and they scored. And you could see actually after one of them, I think he slammed a stick down out of frustration because he knew, like, I should have been there, but he probably just couldn't get there.
If I'm being honest, there's not, the way you posed the question, there's not one guy out there right now that I'm comfortable with. Like,
at all?
There's not one guy that I'm just like, okay, we're good. He's out there. There's not one of them. I mean, this whole season's been like that. Even the guys like Vlasic, for instance.
Yeah.
Yes, he goes up against the best guys in the league constantly, but that's what he gets paid for.
Like if there's a 2-on-1 and that one is defending.
Not Burnsy.
I think Vlasic for me, I'm like, 2-on-1, Vlasic's probably going to shut this down.
Yeah.
For me. Burnsy, it's like, okay, when's he going to slide?
Exactly.
When's he going to get out of position?
Right.
Yeah. So I still think it's Vlasic.
If I were to pick anybody, it would probably be Vlasic. The second guy in line, I would probably take Šimik.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would probably take Šimik after that.
Yeah, he's just a smart player.
Yeah.
Because he's not the fastest. Šimik isn't the fastest.
No.
But he's smart in positioning and knows, what to do basically in most situations. Dylan, Anthony Sanchez said.
Yeah, if we still had him.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see that. He was pretty good too. I was pretty confident in him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's take one more good question, and I think let's wrap it up.
He's got a good question here, and
I don't.
Oh, you don't?
No.
Okay.
So let's wait.
All right. Well, while we're waiting for that one good question, best of luck to all of you who are typing away right now, because Aaron's going to select it. And
also, when are we going to do the
what?
Smelling salts?
Oh yeah. Okay. So I have them.
Last week we said we were going to do them this week.
We did?
Yeah.
Okay. I have them. We will try them. It should be, I think, during a live.
Oh yeah, for
we should
sure.
do it during a live.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Honestly, I'm kind of waiting on the Vegemite first. I want to do the Vegemite first.
It still hasn't arrived.
I know.
Are we sure it was shipped?
But Aaron's got coronavirus for everyone on the pods.
Ugh.
Yeah, maybe they're not letting it in the country. Everything from Australia tries to kill you, right? Maybe Vegemite tries to kill you too. Who knows? No?
No.
I think when I taste it, I feel like it's trying to kill me.
Sure.
Regardless, so let's go ahead and just plug a couple things here. The store. Head to thefinfactor.com. There's the three little lines, I guess, in the top corner there. Click on that. It says support the show. That is what you're doing if you're purchasing anything from there. The hats, the shirts, the stickers. The shirts are super soft. Hats have a really nice pop to them, really. So they're really, really good quality stuff. We did not skimp on these for you guys. So if you get the opportunity, you want to support the show, please feel free to go there, pick up some merch. And we would be forever grateful to that. For those of you guys who were kind enough to give us a little bit of that super chat money, we do appreciate you, and just certainly does help keep everything going over here. We keep talking about Studio B, and we're pretty sure it's going to be happening at the start of next season, I believe. So we'll see how that goes. But in big part, again, thanks to all of the support that we're getting from you guys. So thanks again for that. Anything else you want to plug, or do you have your question?
Like and subscribe.
Okay.
And follow us on all of our socials. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We have our own subreddit. We have we're even on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Really want to go after our socials.
Yeah. Don't post anything on LinkedIn really though.
We just post our videos.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Okay. Cool. You got a question or?
There's a couple in here.
Okay.
I wouldn't say they're good.
Oh, so here, how about we do this? Go ahead, fire off a couple questions,
sure,
and I'll see if we can pick one.
Do we re-sign Dell or let him walk? It was asked twice. Marco Sturm or Gallant for a new head coach? And then someone replied Gallant or Laviolette.
Okay.
I haven't seen what Marco Sturm has done. I know he's been coaching for a while.
Yeah.
Is he in Germany or?
I thought he was in Germany. I could be wrong. Maybe it's just because he's German. But
it was the German. I know he's coaching the German national team,
mm-hmm.
But I don't know what club team he was coaching.
Okay.
I was actually a big Marco Sturm fan. In fact, I have a Marco Sturm jersey. It's funny because he's number 19 before Joe Thornton came on to the Sharks.
There you go.
So it feels weird to wear it now.
Yeah.
Because everyone's like, oh, 19.
Wait, what?
Sturm? What? Why wouldn't you have a Thornton jersey?
Yeah.
Well, I bought it before Thornton was on the team.
Right.
Obviously. But yeah, anyway. It's funny because he was the same draft year as Marlowe.
Mm-hmm.
He was the second round, and Marlowe was the first round pick. And they both started their careers together. But Marco Sturm's been out of the league for a while, and Patrick is still playing. That's why it's kind of it's weird to see that. Like imagine Marco Sturm being the head coach next year, and Patrick is on the team again, right? They were teammates.
Yeah.
At one point.
Well, it's kind of like Nabby and Ricci that are coaching, the Jumbo now, right?
Yeah.
That's weird.
Ricci didn't play with him, though.
Doesn't matter. Just, I mean, Evgeny at least. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be weird.
Kind of a weird one. Anyway, for those questions, is there a better one, or should we just take the Dell one then?
Sturm is on the Kings. He's an assistant coach in L.A. For Todd McClellan. That's pretty cool.
Nice.
Anthony Sanchez, should the Sharks stop looking for players that can play center and wing, or just look for a forward that plays one position? I feel the Sharks need a finisher and we have too many passers. Two different things. I don't think the positioning matters on the passer or the finisher. I tend to agree that the Sharks kind of have too many passers, or they try and get too cute instead of just one selfish guy on the team that takes a million shots and is the go-to guy. You give him the puck, he's going to shoot it.
Mm.
But I don't know. I don't think. I just don't think the position thing matters. I'd rather have more centers on the team because a center can play winger easily, versus a winger playing center.
Yeah.
Right. Just defensively, it's easier to be a winger than it is a center. But if you already know what you have to do as a center, and you don't when you're a winger trying to play center, it's a little bit harder. So I think it's just harder to pick up. So I don't mind having multiple centers in the lineup and just spreading them out on the wings. Plus, I like them in fantasy because they have multiple eligibility.
Cares.
No, a lot of people care.
What they've been,
a lot of people.
Yeah, sure. And you've heard a lot where they say, it's easier to teach a centerman to play on the wing, right? And that's why they like drafting centermen, because they can always just shove them off on the wing. But maybe there's some truth to that. Actually, I kind of like that. Maybe it would be better to get a guy who, this is the position that I've always played. This is the position I know inside and out. And I'm not, I've not been exposed to two different ways of playing as a forward. One being a center, you're a lot more up and down the ice. The wingers, up and down the ice in the middle and playing stronger defensively. You're kind of that third defenseman in the zone. And then on the offensive side, yes, you're cycling and everything else, but you're expected to be one of the first guys back, right? So on those wings, those guys are expected, as soon as we get the puck, or as soon as the Sharks get the puck, to get up and out of the zone as fast as they can to get that break going, right? Generally, that's what they do. So you've got those wingers that are out there and they're breaking. So maybe if you're going after a guy who was just a dedicated winger, purebred, never bothered playing center, never was put in that position before, maybe can learn how to take faceoffs, great. But, a guy who that's his dedicated position, maybe you're going to get, more out of that guy instead of somebody who normally plays center and is learning to play wing instead. So maybe there's some truth to that. I know the Sharks have always done this where they've drafted tons of centers and they just shove the center off on the wing. But maybe it's not such a bad idea to go after a guy who that's just his natural position. That's what he knows inside and out, and that's what he's played ever since he started playing. Who knows?
Right.
So, I wouldn't mind seeing that. That wouldn't be such a bad thing.
Cool.
Yep.
All right.
With that will wrap up episode number 81. Thank you guys for tuning in. We appreciate you guys giving us all your comments and your questions and the super chat money and everything else. I don't know if we're going to continue doing shows like this for the rest of the season, because there's really not a whole lot going on with the Sharks. It's just kind of play, lose. Let's talk about it. So maybe we'll continue to do these live episodes instead of doing a recorded show. I kind of enjoy doing the live stuff more anyway. It's a lot more interactive. So
definitely.
Anyway, one way or another, be looking for us next week, of course. And if you did what Aaron suggests you do, you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you do hit that bell so that you know when we are going live and you can partake in these discussions as well. So for super producer Jason, I'm Paul.
And I'm Aaron.
And we will see you guys
next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.